Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Raw results and your spoilers for the WWE main event. Birthdays, we have December 15th. Rene Dupree, he was born in 1983. Eric Young, also on the 15th. December 16th, Sid Vicious, he was born in 1960. Men's Tejo, 1966. December 17th, birthdays, you got Eugene, he was born in 1975. December 18th, Stone Cold Steve Austin, 1964. Trish Stratus, RVD, he was born in 1971. He's the same age as my brother. Former WWE star Eric Escobar turned 38. Well, we had a death this week. Actually, it was filed last week. Former WWE WCW star Tom zenK, the Z-Man, passed away on Saturday, December the 9th at North Memorial Medical Center in Robbinsdale, Minnesota. He was 59 years old. The death of the Z-Man was revealed this weekend as the Star Tribune in Minneapolis published his obituary. zenK first worked for WWE in 1986 and 1987, then WCW from 1989 to 1994. He was an NWA United States Tag Team Champion, a WCW TV Champion, a WCW World Six-Man Tag Team Champion, and an NWA United States Tag Team Champion. zenK was also known for attending high school in Robbinsdale, along with Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude, Nikita Koloff, John Nord, Barry Darsow, and Brady Boone. And some of the links I'll post for you of his career, such as Thomas Irwin zenK, name zenK, Thomas Irwin, age 59, Golden Valley, Minnesota, passed away December 9th, 2017, survived by his parents, Robert J. and Lois zenK, siblings of Robert Jr., Beth, Catherine zenK, James Raymond, and James L., Joe, 8 nieces and nephews. Okay, you got Halloween Havoc from 1989 versus Mike Rotunda, also known as IRS. Primetime Brian Lee versus Z-Man. Halloween Havoc 1991, Halloween Phantom, aka is revealed as Rick Rude versus zenK. Ric Flair versus zenK. Arn Anderson versus zenK. Tag team match is Pillman and zenK, with Brian Pillman and zenK versus Midnight Express Tag Team title match from Saturday night, March the 10th, 1990. Again, I'll post all the links for you. It's worth noting that WWE did not announce attendance for last night's Clash of Champions pay-per-view. This may have been just the second time in the past year that WWE has not announced attendance during pay-per-view broadcast. Fans in attendance sent word that the other fans were moved from the balcony areas to ringside seats to fill rows up for the camera. Also heard from correspondents that less than half of the upper levels were tarped off. The Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, are currently backstage for Raw in Providence and are scheduled to return to TV later on in the show. According to BW Insider, both Dawson and Wilder are set to wrestle on Monday Night Raw. Former WWE NXT Tag Team Champions have been out of action since early August after Dawson underwent surgery for a right bicep injury. Wilder has worked some WWE main event matches and live event matches, including the Starrcade special event for a loss to Dustin Rhodes. Okay, Goldust. Dawson may be returning earlier than planned, as it was just reported during the first week of December that he was scheduled to be back in the ring for 4 to 6 weeks. Former WWE WCW star and NXT head trainer Bill DeMott stars in an upcoming film. It can be found at this link here, Kamasutra Garden, which recently completed post-production and is tentatively scheduled to be released on Valentine's Day. In the movie, DeMott plays a successful businessman who teams up with an exotic madam and a scandalous sex guru to start an elite brothel called the Kamasutra Garden. in Nevada. It is the only brothel in the world where the girls are trained in Kamasutra, the ancient art and science of lovemaking. DeMott's character requests an award-winning filmmaker named William to visit the Kamasutra Garden to prepare a documentary about the brothel and about the girls who work there. And you can check out the trailer for yourself at the video link. KnokX Pro introduced their first ever live interactive wrestling show on Twitch this past weekend. Can be found on this link, twitch.tv/KnokX Pro. Over the weekend, where fans in the chat determined the moves on the mat. They will be featuring their innovative approach to live interactive wrestling every week. LIW allows the hashtag #IamWrestling fans on Twitch to interact during a live wrestling match with wrestlers in real time. All the posts are viewed live on Twitch chat, and the wrestlers will respond from the squared circle. In addition to the LIW action, KnokX Pro's Twitch channel will be featuring other live content, including in Rikishi's Life with KnokX Pro Academy, seminars and training, as well as the Wrestle Fair conventions and all road tours. And yes, that's Rikishi's School of Wrestling. NXT Superstar Oney Lorcan will be appearing at Beyond Wrestling's Heavy Lies the Crown event on New Year's Eve in Worcester, Massachusetts. No word yet on why WWE is allowing Lorcan to appear at the show. Apparently just for autograph signings, but he wrestled for Beyond Wrestling a few years back before signing with WWE. Lorcan will be signing autographs and appearing for the live crowd that night, but he will not be appearing on the iPay-per-view stream. Beyond Wrestling tweeted the following on the appearance. More breaking. @ Star Destroyer returns to Beyond Wrestling at hashtag Heavy Lies the Crown on New Year's Eve at the White Eagle in Worcester, Massachusetts. For more info and tickets on that, go to this link, beyondwrestlingonline.com/live. Hashtag Oney Lorcan will be in the house for autographs and will be making an appearance for the live crowd only. Noted Dolph Ziggler became a two-time WWE United States Champion at last night's Clash of Champions pay-per-view in Boston by winning a triple threat over Bobby Roode and former champion Baron Corbin. In the Fallout video, I didn't get... Yeah, I did. I got posted a little bit later. Yeah, I'll post it here for you. Ziggler talked about how he's been saying all bad things must end for a few years now, and sometimes it plays to his attitude, but a lot of times it plays to whatever he's experiencing at work and at home. But most importantly, it's a Motley Crue lyric, something he listens to in the gym. Ziggler says, Crue lyrics are sometimes fun, but they mean a lot and keep him going. Ziggler goes on to acknowledge that if he gives a business and company everything he has, he needs to be able to back it up because he talks a big game backstage and tells everyone to follow that. Ziggler says if he doesn't back it up in the ring, then he doesn't deserve to be here. Ziggler puts it all on the line every night, so he has to do what he can in his free time. Get a game plan, hit the gym, watch tapes, and be better than everyone else at all costs. Ziggler says he did everything he could for the past 12 years to tell everyone how good he is, and maybe for the 500th time, he proved it. Ziggler says anyone can come try to take this title from him, but he will beat the living hell out of him and do everything he can, that much more, because he's the only person in the business that is actually good as he says he is. Ziggler ends the promo by saying he is that dang good. It's confirmed on last night's WWE NXT episode that the recent mystery vignette for Shayna Baszler's upcoming debut. And here's a promo of that for the former UFC champ and Mae Young Classic finalist. Noted before, Bobby Lashley, Eddie Edwards, and current Impact Grand Champion Ethan Carter III could be leaving Impact once their current contracts expire. Like the recent departure of James Storm, these departures would come as Anthem looks to stop losing money. Also noted, WWE does have interest in signing Edwards for the WWE NXT brand. It appears WWE also has interest in Lashley, again, and EC3, as he was EC3, formerly known as Justin Bateman. Tough enough competitor as well. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that one or both will end up returning to WWE as they are expected to leave Impact when their deals expire. Impact has announced a $199 backstage pass package for the January 2018 TV tapings at Universal Studios in Orlando. The package comes with 2 front row tickets for all 6 nights, 2 free months of the Global Wrestling Network service, a bag of merchandise, meet and greets, an in-ring photo op, brunch with the knockouts, and a spot to compete in the first ever Impact Mini Golf Championship, which will include some of the wrestlers. And you can purchase the pass. I'll this link for you. And by the way, meet and greets, in-ring photo, $20. But you can get a digital copy on their website. At least it was on TNA Wrestling. Don't know what the website is on GFW. Former WWE star Eva Marie is featured on the latest episode of Complex Magazine's Out of Bounds show. The show also features former adult film star Mia Khalifa as a co-host. Khalifa received backlash from wrestlers and wrestling fans after she ripped WWE on a recent episode, calling it embarrassing and not a real sport, noting that she has no respect for WWE. Khalifa has since accepted an invitation to attend an upcoming indie wrestling event in Austin, Texas, to see if she changes her mind. Eva challenged Mia's claims that wrestling isn't a real sport and defended the sport, she said. Some moves are choreographed, so like you'll go over your finish, whoever's going to win or lose, because that's predetermined. However, when you're in there, usually you're just going toe to toe. So like, if I have you in a headlock, then I'm telling you right then and there what we're doing next. You have your producers in the back adjusting to the crowd. Hey, actually, we're going to go this way. Change the finish, change whatever you have going on. So you can't really choreograph the dance because everything gets mixed up. And sometimes you even forget your moves or move sets that you planned ahead of the match. Eva also commented on the difference between acting and wrestling as she continued to pursue her Hollywood career, she said. You have to put your body through a lot of physicality with wrestling. You're saying you think it's fake. However, when you get in a ring, you're really taking those bumps. And when it comes to acting, you're trying to get out of yourself and be a whole other person, which also helps with WWE too, because you're playing a character at the end of the day. Eva also compared sports and commented on pro wrestling not having an off season. NFL, NBA, they all have off seasons. Wrestling doesn't have off season. We're on the road 209 days out of the year, performing in different cities every single night. Where you have your NBA and NFL and Major League, and they're taking charter flights going to the next city. We're driving in rental cars to the next city. WWE has released a Christmiz story. Can be found at this link. A WWE Christmas movie parody with Miz, Maurice, and his parents parodying the Christmas movie classic A Christmas Story. WWE was set to make their debut at the new Rogers Place Arena in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada on February 9th, 2018, but the show has been canceled due to new city council regulations that have banned all forms of combat sports following the death of a boxer in June. The Edmonton City Council announced this week that there is a 1-year moratorium on new permits or license for any combat sports, which includes WWE. This comes after boxer Tim Hague died after an event in June. The council is currently waiting on a report on Hague's death, and new recommendations could lead to a ban being lifted at any time. The Rogers Place Arena issued the following statement on WWE show being canceled. Following new guidelines established by Edmonton City Council, WWE's event on Friday, February 9th at Rogers Place has been postponed. WWE is working closely with the local commission and hope to return with their sports entertainment events to Edmonton in the near future. Rhino, Heath Slater, and Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat toured the U.S. Navy's Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit while at the Naval Base in San Diego last week during the 15th Annual Tribute to the Troops event. And photos of that event as it aired last week on the show. Quite a few pictures there. Ember Moon, NXT Women's Champ, also at the Tribute to the Troops, can be found in that link for you. As I spoke about Dolph Ziggler earlier, he also spoke with NBC Sports to promote the Tribute to the Troops. Full interview, I did not get the link. He did comment, is there a certain point in time that you can point to where you say this is where the downward turn started? Or was it a gradual process, being unhappy with the placement of his character right now? It was very gradual. It went from, wow, we have something special here with Dolph. The crowd is feeding off of him, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, but after a while, a really good match here and there, or a special moment here and there is not enough to create a star. So after a big match and then just going back to being Dolph, it's hard to be not Dolph. It's I've been very lucky that I've been able to make the most out of those situations. Anytime people see me or the character, you can kind of see how they mesh together, and I'm pretty sure there's nobody who blends that gray area with the character better than me. And that's a fact. A few months ago, when your entrance gimmick started, I thought it was a bit odd, but then I started to realize that a meta-type character who understands his placement on the card and understands what the crowd pops for and is perfect for this era. What are some things you're looking to explore with this character in the coming weeks? You've opened the fourth wall a lot with business, and we've let reality become a huge part of it, which is awesome. Being able to interact with fans every single day gives them the ability to know what's going on behind the scenes a little bit and can actually use that as a part of your character. It would be stupid to let them in on all these different aspects of the show and then pretend that I win every night, because when we're basically calling them stupid for believing that. But if I go, hey, I don't win all the time, but I'm really good, and you know this, and I know this, and one of the nights could be the time that we go with it, and that's very realistic in this world. It's one thing to joke around with the fans, but to disregard huge aspects of a career would be a mistake. Is there something that you would change about your career right now? Yeah, about I'd like to be 3 inches taller, so I could be a 10-time world champion. As he laughs. I'm a big 80s hair metal guy, like a David Lee Roth or someone like Nikki Sixx or Vince Neil, to where I could put on a big show and be awesome at wrestling. But in this character right now, where I focus on throwing that all away because I see the transparency in character that my character hates on them. It's a special place that I get to go to, and I walk to the ring with disdain for the fans, knowing that they sit there and bury everything that we do. But then they cheer for who they're supposed to because they're such hypocrites. It's so great. Well, that was the end of his, I think. WWE website poll apparently spoiled the final fan vote for the Raw brand in the upcoming Mixed Match Challenge tournament. That airs on Facebook Watch beginning in January. The poll listed Samoa Joe as one of the Raw superstars, competing in the tournament, but Joe was not on the official roster that was announced earlier. The poll also did not list a final fan vote for the fans to choose a Raw superstar to compete in the tournament. This indicates that the voting will be rigged and that Joe will be the final red brand star to participate in the tournament. Joe also added to this speculation when he tweeted about the series at Samoa Joe's special announcement. Due to the impending #WWE MMC, I will now have a full-time towel attendant ringside while I pummel the other male participants in the tournament unconscious. Thank you, the management. WWE taped the following matches from Providence, Rhode Island for main event episode. Kalisto defeated Ariel Berry. Apollo Crews defeated Kurt Hawkins. Titus O'Neil and Dana Brooke were with Crews, and Dana's a new character. And to me, it's just like Stacy Keibler's character with Right to Censor. And she's wearing a little skirt type thing and suit thing. Well, Dana's doing the same thing. Raw opened up with a look at last week's match between Kane and Braun Strowman, which ended in a double countout and was supposed to be to determine the Royal Rumble opponent for WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. Live from the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Well, can I have a donut, please? What, Dunkin' Donuts Center? Well, I call it Dunkin' Donuts if they ain't going to sell donuts. Rhode Island and Providence, Rhode Island, as Michael Cole welcomes us to the show. He's joined in by Hall of Famer Booker T and Corey Graves. Right to the ring, out comes Raw General Manager Kurt Angle to a big pop as the "You Suck" chant started up. JoJo does the introduction. Angle welcomes us. He brings up last week's Kane vs. Strowman match and says, unfortunately, there was no winner. Angle confirms that the Beast is here tonight. Angle announces that he will name Lesnar's Royal Rumble opponent before the night is over. Angle promises that. Music interrupts and out comes Braun to the ring. Braun says he earned the right to face Brock as he was the only man left standing last week, which is why Angle should pick him to get the title shot at the Rumble. Kane's music interrupts and out he comes. Kane says he's caused more destruction than anyone in WWE in the past 20 years. So there's no way anyone is stepping up in front of him. Kane says Lesnar's list of victims is impressive, and it does include his brother, The Undertaker, and it does not include Kane. Kane says he will get his chance at the Rumble unless Braun is man enough to stop him. Angle gets in between them, the two big men, as they face off. We're here, ladies and gentlemen, as Paul Heyman interrupts to a pop. Heyman comes to the stage and says we're not having this discussion without input from the champion. Heyman does a big entrance for the Beast as fans go along with him. Music hits and out comes Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. Kane and Strowman stare Lesnar down as he hops up on the apron. When I was watching Raw, I only saw him like already at the ring, so he must have came to the crowd. Angle says he needs to quickly make his announcement before things get out of hand. He announces a triple threat for the Rumble. Angle quickly leaves the ring, and the three giants size each other up. Kane and Strowman go after Lesnar first. Lesnar ends up sending Braun over the top rope to the floor. Kane and Lesnar go at it. Lesnar gets the upper hand after blocking a choke slam and drops Kane with an F5. Lesnar takes the title and leaves as his music hits. Heyman and Lesnar watch from the stage, and Kane sits up. As it took like 5 minutes to sit up. Kane stares Lesnar down from the ring. He's like, that's all you got? So to come, segment, Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. We'll go to commercial. Back from the break, and Coleslaw touts WWE's 20 million YouTube subscribers. And we get to that match, Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins. We go to the ring, out comes Seth Rollins, Jason Jordan's music hit, now he comes instead of Samoa Joe. Jordan talks about how Rollins isn't the only one who wants Joe. He's been asking Kurt Angle for a match with Joe for weeks now. Jordan goes on and says he's done asking if Rollins wants Joe. He has to pick through the bones that are left when Jordan is done. Rollins respects what Jordan's saying and understands that there's a lot of pressure on him, but this isn't Jordan's opportunity or his big chance to make it. Music interrupts, and out comes Joe. It's a fan chant his name. Joe talks about how everyone wants to dance with him, and he has an idea to make things work. Joe proposes Rollins versus Jordan, with the winner getting the chance to get beat down and put to sleep by Joe. Rollins says that's a good idea, but the match has already been made. Rollins tells Joe to bring it so he can get knocked out. Then Jordan can go look for Daddy's approval elsewhere. Jordan shoves Rollins to the mat. Referee warns Jordan as he stands over Rollins. Rollins looks to accept Joe's proposal. Referee calls for the bell, and the match is on. Seth Rollins versus Jason Jordan. Joe comes down to ringside to watch the match. Referee makes the match official with the timekeeper as we get the bell. Winner will face Joe later on in the evening. Jordan gets the upper hand early on. Jordan drops Rollins with a shoulder off the ropes. They run the ropes, and Rollins connects with a kick. Rollins then sends Jordan over the top, right at Joe's feet. Joe taunts Jordan about getting back in the ring. We go to commercial. Back from the break, and Rollins makes a comeback. Sending Jordan back over the top, Jordan catches Rollins on the floor and drives him back into the barrier. We get a replay. Jordan brings it back into the ring and covers for a 2 count. Jordan works Rollins over for another 2 count. Some feeds that I've been catching it online actually have a commercial on one side of the screen and the actual action on the second side. On the second screen, kind of like split screen. Don't know if it does that on live TV, but probably guess not. Jordan rams Rollins back in the corner and turns to Joe to stare him down. Jordan wanted more offense as Joe nods in approval from his chair. Jordan continues ramming Rollins from the corner to corner, focusing on the lower back. Joe claps as Jordan nails a running shoulder to the gut for another 2 count. Jordan with a big right hand to the face. Some fans have been chanting about how boring the match is during Jordan's offense. Rollins starts fighting back, but Jordan cuts him off and hits a backbreaker for another close fall. Jordan keeps Rollins grounded now. And even the announcer Booker T was saying, yeah, you got to keep this match. Let's slow it down a little bit. Jordan's a little bit taller, and what have you. Well, Rollins ends up coming off the second rope with a shot to the face. Jordan once again shuts Rollins down with a counter, and then they both go down. Back to commercial. Back for the break, Rollins hits a sling blade. Rollins with more offense, including a springboard clothesline, but Jordan kicks out at 2. Jordan catches Rollins with a big suplex. Jordan gets a 2 count. Rollins fights out of a move with elbows. Rollins sends Jordan to the floor and goes for a suicide dive, but Jordan comes to the apron, and Rollins has to change the move in midair. Rollins sends Jordan back into the barrier anyways, but he also lands hard on the floor. Fans count along with the referee now. Jordan and Rollins both make it back in before the 9 count. As Joe looks on from his chair, Rollins kicks Jordan in the face. Rollins comes in off the top rope, but Jordan catches him with a Northern Light suplex. Jordan holds it and rolls through for another Northern Light suplex and a bridge for a close 2 count. The announcers accuse the referee of being a step behind. Jordan shows some frustration now as he rocks Rollins while Rollins is on the top rope. Jordan climbs up for a superplex, but Rollins fights back, knocks him off down to the mat. Jordan runs back up. Rollins headbutts him back down. Rollins hits frog splash for a close 2 count. We get a replay. Jordan goes to the floor. Rollins leaps off the apron with a knee to the side of the head. Joe gets up and has words with Rollins now. Rollins grabs Jordan and throws him into Joe. Joe charges but runs into a super kick from Rollins as the fans pop. Rollins talks some trash, but Joe talks trash to Joe, but Joe turns his attention to Jordan and brings him back in. Jordan goes on and counters Rollins for a close 2 count. Rollins nails a knee to the head and covers for the pinfall. With the match, that's Rollins, so Seth gets the face. Joe later on. After the match, Rollins stands tall as his music hits, but Joe attacks. They brawl to the floor, back inside the ring as the referee tries to break them up. Joe with a cheap shot, and then a Uranagi to plant Rollins in onto the mat. Joe mounts Rollins and beats on him as more referees are out to break it up. Joe leaves and talks trash from the ramp. Jordan is down on the floor being checked on while Rollins recovers. Still to come segment. Drew Gulak versus Cedric Alexander to crown the #1 contender. Also, Absolution versus Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickie James. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we'll see what just happened. Furious Seth Rollins is backstage with Kurt Angle, and Dean Ambrose is with him. Rollins doesn't care what it takes. He wants a match with Joe tonight. Ambrose tells Angle to put him on the list too. He wants Joe as well. Jason Jordan walked in. He also wants Joe tonight. Ambrose tells him to get in line. Angle says they will all have their shots later tonight in a six-man match. It will be Rollins, Ambrose, and Jordan versus Joe and the Raw Tag Team Champions, The Bar, later on the show. The announcers then talk about Woken Matt Hardy and how his feud with Bray Wyatt has continued on social media. We cut backstage somewhere to Wyatt. He talks about how Hardy and says he's here to make sure that the right people get hurt. Matt and all of you, Wyatt says he will play if Matt wants to continue on this little chess game that they have going. Wyatt goes on and says the Great War must end. Run. End of segment. 2-on-1 handicap match, Finn Balor versus Mr. Raj. We go to the ring and out comes Finn Balor. Back to commercial as he hits the ring. Back from the break, out comes Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, who Balor has defeated in singles action over the past few weeks. Bo starts off with Balor, but Balor shows him up when he tries to charge. Axel talks trash to Balor from the apron. Bo and Balor look to do a test of strength, but Bo tries to pull Balor into the corner. Axel tags in. Axel and Balor lock up. Axel tries to overpower Balor into their corner, but Balor counters and breaks away. They lock up again. Axel with an elbow to the face. Axel takes Balor to the corner and unloads with shoulders. Dallas tags in and unloads with stomps. Axel tags back in and stomps away while Balor is down. Referee warns him. Fans boo Axel as he stands tall. And by the way, he's not in his neck brace anymore. Balor gets up and fights both guys off. Coming out of the corner, but Axel shuts him down and turns it back around. Axel with a sunset flip, but Balor nails the basement drop kick for a 2 count. Balor keeps Axel grounded. Axel ends up taking advantage of a distraction and dropping Balor. It looks like Balor has a busted nose and is bleeding. Axel unloads on Balor and takes him back to the corner. Bo tags back in and drops Balor with a clothesline for a 2 count. Bo keeps Balor grounded. Bo tells the fans to shut up and sends Balor to the corner. Balor finally gets some momentum going on. Balor with a double stomp to the chest for a 2 count as Axel breaks the pin. Axel unloads on Balor before the referee backs him out. Axel tags back in and takes Balor to the top. Axel wastes too much time and Balor sends him to the mat. Balor goes for the coup de grace, but Bo runs over and knocks him off the mat. Bo comes into the ring and joins in on a double team while Balor is down. And winner by disqualification, Finn Balor. After the match, Mr. Oz double team Balor and talks some trash. WWE NXT Superstar Hideo Itami makes his Raw debut. Now he comes to make the save, and Itami unloads on Axel with kicks. Then Dallas. Itami and Balor clear the ring as fans cheer. We got a commercial. Back for the commercial, and a match is made. Tag team action, Hideo Itami and Finn Balor versus Mr. Oz. Back for the break, we have a tag team match already underway. Itami is in the ring with Dallas. Balor tags in, and Itami holds Dallas while Balor comes flying off the top. Balor goes to work on Dallas. Dallas hits a thumb to the eye while the referee is distracted by Axel. And Itami arguing on the apron. Axel tags back in. She keeps up the attack on Balor. Axel with a backbreaker for a 2 count. Axel continues to dominate Balor. Dallas tags back in, and they hit a big double team move for another close 2 count. Axel tags back in and takes Balor down with a headlock. Itami finally gets the hot tag to unload on Axel. Itami goes to the top and nails a big flying clothesline for a 2 count. Itami with more offense and a big knee as Bo comes in, but Balor takes him out. To the floor, Balor drop kicks Bo into the barrier. Itami scoops Axel in the ring and nails the GTS for the win. After the match, Itami's music hits and he and Balor stand tall. Bo and Axel are down on the floor as we go to replays. Still to come segment, Absolution will be in action. Also, Rollins, Ambrose, and Jordan face The Bar and Samoa Joe. Renee Young backstage with Cedric Alexander. Renee asks if he might be overlooking Drew Gulak. Cedric talks about how bad he wants to defeat Enzo Amore and represent on Raw, but he can't do all that one night. He knows he has a second chance, and he's going to take full advantage of that. Only time he will overlook Gulak is when he's standing over him in victory tonight. Looking forward to his WWE Cruiserweight title shot. Cedric walks off, match commercial. Back from the break, Cole Saw congratulates The Rock on his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We go to the ring. Out comes WWE Cruiserweight Champion Enzo Amore and Drew Gulak. Enzo cuts a promo and makes references to Star Wars before handing the mic to Gulak. Yeah, the new movie, which sucked. I mean, the reason why it sucked, you couldn't tell when they were fighting. Fight action with the music didn't keep you up, and it put you to sleep. Gulak talked about how tonight's huge opportunity and makes some Star Wars mentions. Music interrupts. Out comes Cedric Alexander, and the match is on. Enzo joins the announcer for commentary as Cedric and Gulak lock up. Cedric takes it to the corner. They continue trading holds back and forth in the middle of the ring and off the ropes. Cedric with some offense, including a drop kick. Gulak goes to the floor for a breather. Cedric runs the ropes and leaps out, taking Gulak down. Cedric points up at Enzo. Cedric brings Gulak back into the ring for a 2 count as we go to replay of the dive. More back and forth action as we get back in the ring. They both end up tumbling back to the floor as we return to a commercial break. Back from the break, Gulak turned it around and during the commercial, Gulak with more offense on Cedric before covering for a 2 count. Cedric turns it around, but Gulak knocked him out of midair for another pin attempt. Gulak keeps a boot in Cedric's back and keeps him down on the mat. Cedric finally looks to make a comeback with offense. Gulak rolls him up for a 2 count. They trade more pin attempts. Cedric drives Gulak into the mat for a close 2 count. Cedric ends up hitting more offense, but Gulak catches him in a submission. Gulak with another type of submission as Cedric reaches for the bottom rope. Cedric breaks a hold. Enzo is texting on his phone, not paying attention. Enzo gets up from commentary and walks away to the back. Cedric kicks at a distracted Gulak in the head. Cedric fights in from the apron, but Gulak catches him. Cedric rocks Gulak and springboards in with a clothesline. Cedric hits a lumbar check for the win and a title shot. After the match, Cedric stood tall as his music hits. Show to come segment, Absolution in action. Also, Oscar's up next, so we got a commercial. Back from the break, Enzo Amore walking backstage when he sees Nia Jax. He got her DM, that was texted to him earlier during the match. Nia just wanted to finish the conversation that they previously started. That is, if Enzo can get the okay from his friend Gulak first. Enzo says Gulak just works for him in his O train. They aren't friends. Enzo then says yes to the recent tweet from Nia. But here comes Gulak. A mess from the loss to Alexander. Drew announces to Enzo that he lost the number 1 contenders match. Nia ends up leaving and hoping to get the talk with Enzo later. Enzo isn't happy with Gulak, yelling that he did a lot of things wrong. Enzo walked off. Asuka versus Alicia Fox. We go to ring. Out comes Asuka. Alicia followed out, and we get a sidebar video from her. Fox stalls early on as Asuka keeps trying to go after her. Asuka finally grabs Fox. Fox fights out of a headlock, but Asuka drops her with a shoulder tackle. Asuka shows off some and mocks Fox. Asuka takes Fox down by the arm, but Fox scrambles to the rope and then out to the floor. Fox comes back to the apron and Asuka goes after her. Fox gets the upper hand and drops Asuka with a big kick. Fox gets a 2 count. Fox with some offense and a Northern Light suplex for a 2 count. Fox with a little more offense, but Asuka comes back and unloads. Asuka with a drop kick. Asuka goes and tosses Fox across the ring. Asuka ends up rolling Fox into the barrier for a submission win. After the match, Asuka stood tall as the music hits and Fox recovers. We go to replays. Still to come, Joe in the Bar versus Jordan, Rollins, and Ambrose. We go back to commercial. Joe in the Bar versus Jason Jordan, Seth Rollins, and Ambrose. Back from the ring, out comes Samoa Joe to the ring. We see what happened from earlier with Joe, Jason, and Seth Rollins. Out comes Raw Tag Team Champion Cesaro and Sheamus. Jordan is out first for his team as fans boo. Rollins and Dean Ambrose are out next. Jordan looks like he wants to start, but Ambrose talks him out of the ring. Rollins starts off with Sheamus, but Jordan immediately takes himself in. Jordan turns and decks Joe off the apron. Sheamus goes to work on Jordan. Jordan knocks Cesaro off the apron as well. Jordan turns around to a big clothesline from Sheamus. Joe tags in and unloads on Jordan now. Joe beats on Jordan as the referee warns him. Joe breaks the tags in Cesaro to keep up the attack on Jordan. Sheamus tags in as they keep Jordan in the corner. Sheamus stomps away. Sheamus ends up dropping a knee for a 2 count. Cesaro tags in and comes off the second rope with a kick for a 2 count. Cesaro keeps Jordan grounded. Jordan goes for a tag and Rollins tags himself in. Rollins comes in and knocks Sheamus off the apron. Rollins nails a sling blade on Cesaro and then a shot to knock Joe off the apron. Cesaro and Rollins trade pin attempts. Rollins with a kick to the chin for a 2 count. Cesaro elbows Rollins and dumps him to the apron. Rollins' leg drops the back of Cesaro's neck and Cesaro hits the floor. Rollins launches himself out and Cesaro takes him down. Joe and Sheamus go for Rollins, but he hurries back in the ring. Rollins and Ambrose stand tall in the ring as the heels look on from the floor. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Sheamus works on Rollins into the corner. Joe tags in and drops Rollins from behind. Joe with knees and strikes in the corner. Joe takes Rollins down to the mat and keeps him grounded. Joe ends up running right over Rollins and covering for a 2 count. Sheamus tags in and scoops Rollins for a double team move from Cesaro. Cesaro covers for a 2 count. Rollins fights Sheamus and Cesaro off. Sheamus drops Rollins into an Irish curse backbreaker and then another. Sheamus holds Rollins over his knee and gives him a thumbs down. Rollins counters a third attempt and drops Sheamus with a DDT. Joe tags in, stops Rollins from tagging. Joe unloads in the corner and drops Rollins with a kick. Jordan breaks the pin and goes at it with Joe, but gets sent out to the floor. Joe tags in Sheamus. Rollins blocks white noise and rolls Sheamus up for a 2 count. Sheamus charges but runs into the ring post with a shoulder as Rollins moves. Ambrose gets riled up, waiting for the tag now. Cesaro pushes Rollins back and stops the tag. Cesaro keeps Rollins grounded. Rollins fights for the tag, but Cesaro keeps overpowering him. Cesaro with a knee to the gut and then tosses Rollins to the floor. Joe and Sheamus attack Rollins. Jordan goes after Joe while Ambrose goes after Cesaro. We have chaos at ringside. Ambrose drops Joe and helps take out Cesaro. Ambrose rolls Rollins back in the ring and goes over to wait for the tag. Cesaro runs in and drops Ambrose off the apron to stop the tag again. Joe comes in, but Rollins sends him back to the floor. Rollins ends up hitting a suicide dive that takes the others out, including Ambrose. Rollins brings Cesaro back into the ring. Ambrose is clutching his arm after the dive from Rollins. The referee calls for a doctor to check on Ambrose. Rollins is distracted by Ambrose, but he goes back in and Cesaro lays him out. The referee is slow to get back in the ring, but he counts a pin as Cesaro covers Rollins. Bar and Samoa Joe win the match. After the bell, music hits as the Bar take their titles to the ramp to celebrate with Joe. We see trainers tending to Ambrose at ringside. Jordan finally recovers at ringside as well. We see what happened earlier with Angle, Lesnar, Strowman, and Kane. Announces height. Kane versus Strowman versus Lesnar in a triple threat for the Universal title at Royal Rumble. We see a limousine arrive in the backstage area. A jobber opens the door and out steps Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon. She walks into the arena as we go back to commercial. Back from the break, Matt Hardy is somewhere backstage for another Woken promo on Bray Wyatt and the Great War. He makes mention of this game of chess, and there's a chessboard in the room. Hardy says he will stand by his Woken warriors for the Great War. Matt goes on and says Bray and Sister Abigail must be stopped. They must be deleted. Hardy does some more Woken screams after a delete chant. Delete, delete, delete. Coleslaw talks about Dean Ambrose hurting his arm in the last match. Cameras go backstage to Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins near the trainer's room. Samoa Joe and the Bar attack them and lay them both out. Joe warns that they are never safe, then drops a production case on Ambrose's arm before they team up to send Rollins into a concrete wall. They leave as the trainers check on Ambrose and Rollins. Back to commercial. Back for the break, we'll see what just happened to Rollins and Ambrose. Coleslaw says Ambrose is being taken to a local hospital for x-rays to see how bad damage is to his arm. Returning Revival versus Rhino and Heath Slater. We go to the ring. Out comes the Revival making their returns. We see a quick video of Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, who have been away due to Dawson suffering a bicep injury in August. Rhino and Heath Slater are waiting in the ring. Rhino starts off with Wilder. Dash gets some offense, but Rhino turns it around, and in comes Slater for a double team. We see Titus Worldwide, Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, and Dana Brooke backstage watching. Dana is taking notes on the match. Feed has an issue, but comes back as Dash getting sent out of the ring. Dawson is also in the ring. Dawson and Slater unload in the middle of the ring. Wilder tags in, but Slater doesn't see it. The Revival hits Slater with a shatter machine for the pinfall. After the match, Dash and Dawson stood tall, their music hits, and we see Stephanie McMahon and Kurt Angle backstage talking. Coleslaw wonders if they're making plans for next week's Christmas edition of Raw. So it comes segment, Absolution and 6 women action. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Kurt Angle approaches Rhino and Heath Slater backstage. Angle tells him that with the new year approaching, he needs them to toughen up if they want better opportunities. Angle walks off. Slater says he has kids to feed and asks Rhino what that meant. Rhino says that means they need to change. Slater needs to toughen up. Rhino knows exactly how to make that happen. Rhino tells Slater to follow him as they leave. We go to the ring, and Elias' introduction. He has a spotlight and a guitar. Elias introduces himself and asks who wants to walk with him. Elias talks about New England Patriots. Quarterback Tom Brady gets some heat when he knocks him. Elias goes on and brags about holding his own with the guys like Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Elias says Angle is afraid of what he is becoming, and Angle should be. Elias says Royal Rumble will be the performance of the year when he enters and wins the match. Fans pop. Elias goes on and has a song about NFL boss Roger Goodell. The music interrupts Elias, and out comes Sasha. Elias thanks Sasha for joining him and tells her to watch him do his thing. Elias starts singing about Rhode Island, but the music hits and out comes Mickie James. Elias says usually he doesn't like being interrupted, but it's not bad being because all the ladies want to talk. With Elias tells them to join in if they know the words. He starts singing about Rhode Island again, but this time Bayley interrupts and makes her enter. Elias takes the guitar and leaves as Bayley hits in the ring for the next match. We go to commercial. Back from the break, Graves confirms Hideo Itami's 205 Live debut for Tuesday night. Coleslaw confirms John Cena's return for next Monday's Christmas Raw from Chicago. Absolution versus Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Mickie James. We go to the ring. Out comes Absolution Paige, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville. Sasha, Bayley, and Mickie will wait as we get a look back at last Monday's Raw. It looks like Paige may have started off with Sasha. Paige unloads on Banks in the corner. Mandy and Deville drag Sasha to the floor as Paige distracts the referee. Paige orders Mandy and Sonya to attack Mickie and Bayley on the floor. They do and brawl at ringside. Paige watches and turns around to Sasha coming off the top rope. Sasha nails the 2 count, and Mandy breaks the pin. Sonya and Mandy double team Sasha in the ring as the referee calls for the bell. Winner by disqualification, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickie James. After the bell, Rose and Deville continue beating on Sasha. Paige kicks Sasha in the face. They hold her up. Nia Jax's music hits, and out she comes to a pop. Absolution waits in the ring, stares Nia as she enters the ring. Deville and Rose attack, but Nia shows them off. Nia with a kick to Deville and a headbutt to Rose. Nia tosses Deville into the corner and then tosses Rose into her. Nia scoops Deville and Rose and drops them with a double Samoan drop in the middle of the ring. Paige watches from the corner and can't believe it. Nia stands tall as Paige takes her knee out from behind. Paige unloads on Nia and orders Deville and Rose to get up and join her. Alicia Fox, Bayley, Dana Brooke, Mickie, and Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss all hit the ring as the brawl breaks out. Music hits, out comes Stephanie McMahon. Everyone stops fighting and watches her. Stephanie in his ring talks about the women's revolution and how that turned into the women's evolution. She talks about how about all the firsts for the women's division over the past few years. Stephanie asks the women if they want to make history once again. Stephanie asks if the crowd wants to see history made once again, and they do. She announces all women's Royal Rumble match for the first time ever at the January 28th pay-per-view. Stephanie says if there ever was a time for a yes chant start, and now the crowd even gives her one. The Borgasm. Yes. Red Brand Women's Division celebrates with Stephanie as Raw goes off the air. Dark match after this week's Raw saw Braun Strowman defeat Kane by putting him through a table. Also noted, it was announced during Raw that Kane and Braun will face Universal Champion Brock Lesnar in a triple threat at the January 28th Royal Rumble. Speculation that Dean Ambrose may have legitimately suffered an arm injury on Raw has not been confirmed, but WWE announced the following after the show. Ambrose suffered an arm injury on Raw. Submission Machine and the Bar exaggerate the Lunatic Fringe's arm injury. Dean Ambrose sustained an injury to his right arm during Raw's six-man tag team match, and the damage was as exacerbated when his opponents, Samoa Joe and Raw Tag Team Champion Cesaro and Sheamus, assaulted the Lunatic Fringe in the training room. The attack accumulated when Joe slammed a road case onto Ambrose's arm, leaving him writhing in pain. Ambrose was taken to a nearby medical facility for x-rays and evaluation. More details will be given whenever I find them and post them on the SmackDown video. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on the video. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.